We've returned. Another chapter in the FD series. So today we're doing easy stuff. We're doing the ABS delete and we're doing brake stuff. But to do the brakes, we gotta move this and we gotta move this so that can come down. Alright, so what we're starting with, we're gonna start with the ABS delete. That spaghetti monster is gonna be disappeared along with all these lines here on the firewall and along with the spaghetti mess at the master. And it's all gonna be simplified with that really nice kit. Anyway, so we're moving on to the brakes now. We got our stainless steel lines for all four corners, and of course our StopTech rotors. They're beautiful. Same ones I use on my cars, because they got the really nice slots, and also the black top hat. They're very, very nice rotors. And they're also not very expensive. That's why I always default to them and use them on everything. Alright, brakes are done, mostly. Just the rotors anyway. Lines are in. ABS delete is done. All that free space there. Bent the line up, wrapped it under there. It's super long because it's meant to go under the cowl, but we're not doing that because we also got to take the fender off and we're also not doing that. So all that is looped up and we'll show you how to hide that once we get the trans in. And then this is mounted like this. We're still got to make a mount for this to go somewhere right here. It's gonna come up and then over and then it's gonna mount something like that, and it's gonna be really, real nice. So yeah, ABS delete's done. You can see all those lines on the firewall are gone and it's much more presentable now. Once the wire harness goes in that corner, that's all that's gonna be there. And once we clean this up and get all this dust off, it'll be a lot nicer. Go ahead, say something. Since
LS3 swap coming soon to this thing. Alright guys.
Mike is going to buy me an engine.
Since you're itching.
In 5 months.
Itching to say something.
We robbed Dom
He
yet?
promised me. 4 rotor.
Go ahead, get it all out of your system. Anyway, so now that the brakes are done and we don't have pads yet because of some shenanigans, we can't bleed the brakes or do anything else. So we're gonna move on to other stuff. We got more things to do with the fuel pump, fuel lines, and other things. So we're gonna move on to that and upgrades from there. We'll come back to the brakes later. So we're picking up with the fuel pump, and pretty straightforward job, just like any other fuel pump job.
I don't like the way it's made.
You bet.
So push that boot through.
Oh, you're making it. Kind of weird.
Pull the thing up. Just lift the whole plate up.
Wow.
Yep. And then unplug it.
There you go. Bitch ass.
Alright, I'll pull the plate off.
What?
Pull the plate off. Alright, hoses are off, screws are out. Yeah. Everything's out. Go ahead, Dan, go ahead, lift up on that thing. Let's pull the fuel pump out, see what it looks like. Yeah, it's a little stuck. You gotta break that seal. Ooh. You sure you got all the screws out?
Pop the chair. Huh? Yeah.
Alright.
Glass check.
Holy shit,
Go ahead and just yoink on it. You sure you got all the screws out?
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll be able to pull that hard.
Oh, there you go. Oh, there you go. There you go.
Good job, Underroll.
Daniel. Drip, drip.
Oh, it's actually really clean. Hold on, but don't take it out yet. Let the sock drain. Lean it so that the sock all the way drains out. Yeah, this gas tank is pristine on the inside. It looks brand new, and there's a good chance it might be.
Gosh. There you go. Yep, take it out.
Clean. Mint. Which is a big shock after a car's been sitting for so long. But I guess the environment it was in wasn't all that bad. But yeah, it looks super clean, super beautiful. Oh, look at that. Yeah. Brand new.
I don't want to spend some money.
All right, analyze the stock setup. So this is 100% a stock fuel pump, and you can see the fuel level where it was sitting at. So just enough to start the car. Now, everything on here actually does look pretty good. Very light corrosion, but it's not nothing crazy. And yeah, everything's in excellent shape. But this is a new fuel pump we're using. An AEM, of course. And there's your part number there, 51,000. I believe this is a, it's a 340. So that's going to be plenty for anything that we need to do in the future. There you go. Got it, Daniel.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the same fuel pump I have in the blue car that put down a whopping, well, I won't tell you the horsepower number. But here's the whole kit. We got to just wire this up to work into here, and that'll be that. So a simple fuel pump upgrade here. So this is what we did. Factory, what you're supposed to use is this top hat piece here. There's actually an O-ring that goes in there along with this little retainer piece. So with the new fuel pump, it's not exactly designed to use that, although you can use it that way. But it does come with a submersible piece of hose, and this is just actually a better way of going about it. So we did that. Unfortunately, the way that the hanger is set up for the pump to sit in here, it doesn't work with the new seat. So what we have here is basically like a riot zip tie. Like if you were in a riot and the cop were to grab you, this is what they're putting on you. It's strong, put it like that. It's not going anywhere. Also, we're doing a fuel pump rewire to complement the better fuel pump. We got Daniel in here taking one for the team to run this wire cleanly in the car. As you can see, you can't see it, and that's the whole point. So Daniel's doing a great job taking care of that, making sure this wire is tucked away gently and neatly so that we can run it back here to the trunk, ultimately to the fuel pump where the relay will sit. With the fuel pump mostly done, the next job is to relocate the fuel filter, which is right there above the diff. And then boom, we got the fuel filter mounted right there. So what we did was we drilled straight up into the subframe, threaded the holes, blue Loctite, and then two bolts that run through it, and now it's mounted like that. Up and out of the way, and if you ever needed to change it, it's nothing. Absolutely nothing to change this out. So easy work and better quality of life for everybody. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna swap out the oil in the diff since we're here already. And of course we're using the best.
Yeah, I remember.
Redline 7590. We're gonna service that next. So we found our way outside, and I got this bottle full of mystery green stuff. I'm just gonna use Gatorade, lemon lime, and we're gonna clean up this engine bay. So after this car's been sitting in this barn for all these years, it's accumulated a lot of barn dust and owl pellets. There's no owl pellets, but a lot of barn dust. So we're gonna spray it down, let it soak for a little bit, and then we're gonna hose it all off, and hopefully it comes out looking a lot cleaner than what it is right now. This isn't just dust that you can blow off. This is like the hardcore dust. The I'm here to stay dust. The dust that if you don't clean it off, you'll be cleaning it off for the rest of your life dust. But we're gonna use this Gatorade and see what its cleaning powers are, and hopefully, hopefully it works well. Look at that. Alright, engine bay is about as clean as it's gonna get. I went over it with this just to see what it would do, and it didn't exactly help at all. It's still like real ashy and crusty. And before you blame the chemical I used, it was just car soap that was diluted with water. So about as gentle as it can get. Just straight, like super soft cleaner. Didn't even use any degreaser or anything, just soap. But it's a lot cleaner than it was, I'll tell you that. Yeah, but we'll call that good. We'll let this dry. And, yeah, engine bay's clean. Just finalized the fuel pump rewire, and that's it. I mean, I think that's pretty clean, right? In addition to the fuel pump rewire, last night I did a bunch of other stuff and didn't film any of it. It's just really hard to film, also really boring to film, and it's really straightforward. There's not really much to go over, but I'll just show you what I did, just so you guys can see. Power FC is installed, wideband is installed, boost controller is installed. Alright, so we're down here in the wheel well, right? So in the USDM cars, there are a few wires that actually need to be cut because it's something that doesn't exist in the Japanese car, which is what the Power FC is actually built for. All the wires that need to be cut are actually on the engine harness, not inside the car. So here they are here. So what I did was I cut them, and then I put a little piece of shrink wrap over the leads and melted the leads. Not entirely necessary, but you know, this looks a lot more professional than just leaving random cut wires. This looks intentional, you know what I mean? Also, it's not for everybody, but for some cars, when you install the Power FC, you lose 3 of your fan speeds for the AC, and there's a mod that you can do to get them back. And obviously I don't know if this car will be affected by that, but instead of testing it, just went ahead and did it anyway. Basically what the mod does is it takes the ground that causes the fault and makes it its own ground. So you put this relay in, and there's a million ways to do this, but you do it with the relay. You cut some wires, tap some wires, split some wires, and the relay is there. The wideband is wired in fully and installed. The wires are ran for it. We don't have the gauge pie yet, so it's just sitting like that. And the boost controller is fully installed as well. I still need to get some double-sided tape and stick it on top of the console thing there. Also, another tip I got, I dusted that lightly with some black paint, because if you remember, it was all scratched up and everything, and it just didn't look that good. So very lightly touched up with some black paint, and it looks absolutely amazing. It looks brand new. So moving on, getting back to the motor. Also, I checked in with the parts. We will have all of those tomorrow. Turbos and intake manifold and everything else. We'll get all that in and drop this in tomorrow in the car. But tonight we are going to put the clutch on. We're going to swap out all of the O-rings for the AC since we're converting over to 134, and these are all R12 type O-rings. And we are also going to